The tools we will use in our training sessions are very important. We are using pressure and release, and we'll be interacting in close proximity with our horses. Staying safe is one of our highest priorities. In order to stay safe, we have to not only have the tools, but the mindset to require safe interaction. We need to remember that horses are in a totally different weight class than us humans. The average weight of a human woman is about 170 pounds, and the average weight of a horse is about 1,000 pounds. That's close to 6 times our weight, and we need to be respectful of that difference. Even casual and friendly contact can cause catastrophic injuries for us. Now, we pair that with the fact that horses are prey animals and flighty by design, and it really is a recipe for disaster when we consider interacting with them. The saying in the horse world is, it's not if you get hurt, it's when. And I've always added, what can you do to mitigate the damage? The answer is properly training your horse to interact calmly with us and our environment, to behave in a way that is in direct contradiction to their biological imperative. The first tool we need to consider using is a confined space. I start all of my training programs within a round pen that is about 50 feet in diameter. Round is a good shape, but is not necessary. You can close off a smaller section of your arena, but the size of the space is important. A 50-foot diameter gives enough room for the horse to move around and enough room for us to keep a safe distance. However, it's a small enough space to be able to control the amount of pressure we can apply without losing the connection to our horse. While working in the round pen, I also use a stick and string. This tool does 2 things. First and foremost, it can be used as a block to keep the horse out of my space. Setting down a foundation of controlling our own space is more important than I can possibly relate on this video. Horses that respect human space are safer for humans as well as themselves. Horses that hurt humans end up getting bounced around from one home to the other because they're hard to take care of. Horses that are pushy or so spooky that they're willing to run through humans have not been given the tools to coexist with us, which is a shame because they really have no choice. We can use our stick to create and maintain distance from us, teaching our horse that they cannot run through us. The other function of the stick is as an extension of our arm that we can use to create pressure in the place that we need it. The stick is about 4 feet long and essentially turns our body shape into the same oval that we see in a horse's body design. With the length of the stick, we can strategically apply pressure relative to their drive line. You'll see this in all the exercises. It's also important to realize that the stick is quite stiff. It has a little bit of a bend, but not like a flag or a dressage whip. This is an important detail because it allows us to be very specific when we apply pressure. The string at the end of the stick gives us an even further reach, allowing us to get some energy behind the driveline when we're lunging, and is one of our most useful desensitizing tools. The halter we use is a stiff rope halter with knots on the noseband. Horses are capable of feeling minute pressure, and they can feel a fly land on their skin, but they can also muscle through our tools with an obscene amount of force. The halter we use helps to maintain control so that we are less likely to be dragged or worse. We are always working to reduce the pressure we use on our horses to get a result, but we also have to be willing to increase the pressure to the point where the horse is motivated to find a solution. A soft noseband halter has limits on the amount of pressure we can use, and it often teaches them to pull against us. One of the exercises that we teach is flexing, and the communication during that exercise would be lost with the large, flat noseband. The knots help to clarify where the pressure is coming from so that our horses can figure out where the release is. A horse that can work through finding the release is a much safer horse. Think about a horse that gets its head stuck in a fence. An untrained horse, one that never experienced the confining pressures of a halter and never learned to overcome that oppositional reflex to try to find the release, will likely cause a huge scene, hurting itself, or worse. However, a horse that is experienced in finding the solution to the pressure they are feeling will probably come out of that scenario in a much better position. Again, it's my feeling that teaching our horses to offer calm responses to pressure and learn to find the solution is our obligation and responsibility. In addition to the halter, I use a 10-foot lead rope. Many lead ropes are 6 to 8 feet in length, and I feel that in total that is just too short. I want to keep about a 3-foot diameter safety bubble around myself, and a lead rope shorter than 10 feet doesn't have enough room left in it to compensate for that bubble while still leaving enough tail in my hand so that I can hang on to it. Essentially, I want a 3-foot bubble around myself at all times, and then I want the horse to be about 3 to 4 feet beyond that bubble when they are loping around in the lunging exercise. That's already 7 feet of rope used. At that point, I don't want to be holding the end of the rope because it will easily get pulled out of my hand. I want a tail in the rope so that it can slide through my hand. I also don't want the rope to be taut. I'm looking for slack in the line, especially during lunging, so that our horse does not develop into the habit of pulling on us. Remember the oppositional reflex, pull and be pulled? I can't win a tug of war with my horse, so I just refuse to play. And I need enough length in my rope to keep it slack. A 10-foot lead rope works very well in all of those circumstances. To review, in the upcoming exercises, you will see a round pen, a stick and string, a rope halter, and a 10-foot lead rope. We will be using all of these tools to apply pressure and release and teach our horses to give an appropriate response to that pressure, preparing them to be successful in their domesticated world.